Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of Better Book It. So stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Better Book It is a board game that I created. Each of these spots represents a different reading prompt, though some of them allow me to skip to the end or move forward or have to go backwards or start over. But the goal is I give myself 3 days, and in those 3 days, if I can make it from the start to the finish, then I get to take one of my base spins off of my wheel of TBR that I have to do at the end of the month. If I don't successfully get to the end by the end of the 3rd day, then I have to add a base spin. So during this round of Better Book It, as you notice, my books are shelves. My shelves have no books. I have currently packed them all away, or most of them. I have a small selection of books that I still have out and available. So most of what I'm going to be reading is going to have to be found through like Libby and Audible and Hoopla, that kind of thing, because we're getting ready to move. And so I'm going to be spending most of the time working on packing up and stuff around the house. So I'm going to be listening to audiobooks. I do actually have a couple already checked out from Libby, and one of them I've already started, though I'm not very far into it. So if I can make that one work, I will definitely try. Okay, let me get this camera turned around and we'll get started. Okay, so I couldn't find Cedric. It's possible that he got packed up. So today we're going to use Big Bird. Put him right there. And I did find my die. So let's roll that and see what we get. A 3. 1, 2, 3. This is adaptation. Okay, so I'm looking for a book that's been turned into a movie or a TV show, or a TV show or movie that's been turned into a book. So let me go do some searching and see what I can find. Okay, so I was trying to find books that I thought I actually own. So I'm still trying to knock stuff off of my physical TBR, even though I don't have my physical books. And so when I was filtering the results, I typed in adaptation to see, to narrow it down. And I believe this book is one that I own. And that is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. And this says, now a major motion picture starring Amy Adams. In this blazingly smart and voracious debut novel, an artist turned stay-at-home mom becomes convinced she's turning into a dog. A must-read for anyone who can't get enough of the ever-blurring line between the psychological and supernatural that Yellow Jackets amplifies. One day the mother was a mother, but then one night she was quite suddenly something else. An ambitious mother puts her art career on hold to stay at home with her newborn son, but the experience does not match her imagination. 2 years later, she steps into the bathroom for a break from her toddler's demands, only to discover a dense patch of hair on the back of her neck. In the mirror, her canine suddenly looks sharper than she remembers. Her husband, who travels for work 5 days a week, casually dismisses her fears from faraway hotel rooms. As the mother's symptoms intensify and her temptation to give in to her new dog impulses peak, she struggles to keep her altered canine identity secret. Seeking a cure at the library, she discovers a mysterious academic tome which becomes her Bible, a field guide to magical women, a mythical ethnography, and meets a group of mommies involved in multi-level marketing scheme who may also be more than what they seem. An outrageously original novel of ideas about art, power, and womanhood, wrapped in a satirical fairy tale. Night Bitch will make you want to howl in laughter and recognition, and you should. You should howl as much as you want. So I think this is going to be a fun read. I remember people talking about this book. I want to say people liked it. So I'm looking forward to reading this. And I'm not looking forward to getting started back on packing. It's a lot. Okay, so it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just finished Night Bitch. And how to describe this book? So, first off, I very much enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give this one 4 stars. Uh, but it's a little bit of a weird one, and being that it is now a major motion picture, I want to watch it. Very much want to watch it. I'm curious, very curious of how that movie would be. So our main character, I don't know if we ever actually get her name. She just refers to herself as Night Bitch. Let me see. Does it say in the description? No, it just says an ambitious mother. So she was an artist, and her husband an engineer. And when they had a child, she tried to do the work and be a mom, and it just wasn't really working out, and she was pretty much having to do all of the childcare stuff as far as at home. And she was also feeling really guilty about not being with her child most of the day. And so eventually she became a stay-at-home mom. And her husband, he's not very helpful. He works like out of town 5 days out of the week, and when he's home, he's not any help. He's tired. He wants to relax. He wants to play video games. He wants to scroll on his phone, and she's still having to do all the things, and she's not getting any good sleep. And the kid's now like 2 years old, and she's been struggling for 2 years to get any kind of rest, and she's exhausted and just kind of fed up with everything. And I don't know if it's just something that goes on in her head or what. I think a little bit is she might be a hypochondriac, because there's many times throughout the book that she thinks, oh, that I might have gotten this issue or this issue or this issue. But from the very beginning, she feels like she's grown this patch of hair on the back of her neck, that her canines have become sharper, more pointed, and she seems to think that she's turning into a dog. And she's freaking out about it at first, but then she ends up kind of embracing this. And this was the point that things kind of changed for her, where she started enjoying life and motherhood more, and her son loved playing doggies, and she was able to get rest and get him to like nap when he was supposed to and sleep when he's supposed to. And she kind of, I wouldn't say she resented her kid before, but maybe a little bit, because of just being so exhausted and not having time for herself and missing out on the artist that she was. And when she started embracing this whole dog thing, which she calls herself Night Bitch, she became happier and freer, and eventually, demands that when her husband's home, he takes care of putting the kid to bed and things like that. And it's a little bit of a struggle of figuring out how to make friends and how to just balance things. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm very curious to watch this movie. But now I need to pick the next book. I also need to charge my phone because it's at 32%. Maybe I could do a small physical book, or I could just let my phone charge for a little while and then get back to listening to an audiobook. But let's see what we get next. Let's see, is there anything that I want or don't want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would prefer not to get a big book. But really, other than that, anything else would be fine. I think I still have some of my Once Upon a Book Club boxes that I can get access to. I'm not sure what I'm going to do if I don't. We'll see. All right. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a romance. Okay, I'm going to look and see what I can find, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just spent the past 45 minutes looking at spoilery synopsis type things for Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because I've read that one and I couldn't really remember too much. Unfortunately, the thing I ended up finding only told me into chapter 14. And so I read a couple of different ones. I think I remember enough that I can go into Pure, which is the next book, and it is available on Amazon or Audible, part of the, I don't know what you call it, the Prime ones or whatever. They don't cost, it's part of the subscription. You don't have to use a credit for, but it's only available until September 9th. So I'm going to listen to that. But my phone is now at 26%, so I do need to charge that. Pure is the second book in the Covenant series. So in the Covenant series, we have pure bloods that were from Greek gods. A pure blood and a pure blood have a pure blood. And then we have half bloods that are half god, half mortal. And the pure bloods, they get all the good things. And the half bloods, they can either, if deemed worthy, they can train to become guards or sentinels. And if they're not worthy, then they're made as servants to the purebloods. And our main character, Alex, her mom kind of had the two of them escape the Covenant, which is this boarding school type thing, because this oracle type lady told her that Alex would become something, and that she thought it would be best for them to leave. And Alex had no idea what this was, but these demons, they attacked, and she believed that her mom was dead and she was on her own. And then sentinels caught Alex and brought her back to the Covenant. And initially, they were going to just make her be a servant to her stepfather because she's missed 3 years of training. But Aiden, this sentinel who's highly respected, top of his class, all of that, agreed that he would train her and get her caught up. And so they said that if she could be caught up with the rest of her class by, I think, the end of the summer or whatever, that she could continue to train. And throughout this, they've discovered that her mom's not actually dead, and her mother has been changed into one of these demons, or daemons, I think is how it's pronounced. And she knows that she's going to have to be the one that kills her mom. And there's also this whole Apollyon thing. So I guess there's usually only one Apollyon, and they're used to balance between the pures and the half-bloods and keep everything good. But every 100 years or something like that, there are two, and they're meant to be two halves of a whole. And we have Seth, who is one of the Apollons, and turns out that's what Alex is as well. And her mother was keeping her away for that reason. And I vaguely remember what happens at the end. I'm hoping that book 2 kind of gives me a little bit of a recap in the beginning to help refresh my memory. But I think I gave it 3.5 stars, something like that. But there is a romance, because there's romantic feelings between Alex and Aiden, even though that's a forbidden romance, because it's against the rules for half-bloods and purebloods to be in any kind of relationship at all. And he's a pureblood, she's a half-blood. So yeah, I mean, this classifies as a romance. So that's what I'm going to be reading for this one once I get my phone charged up. Good morning. I was listening to Pure yesterday. I still have a couple hours left. I'm on chapter 16 right now. And I remember the first book I gave like, I think 3 or 3.5 stars, something like that. And I'm kind of feeling the same about this. So there's a part in here that there's this one character that in book 1 and also in book 2, you should really like, you should feel something for at this point, and something bad happens to that character. And I was just kind of like, oh, that's sad. But I wasn't like, if you're really or for me, if I'm really invested in this story and in these characters and what happened, I would be crying, and it didn't do that to me. I'm enjoying it okay. Another thing I remember is that this is very much like Vampire Academy, but Greek. Really, like almost exactly. At least the first book is. I DNF'd Vampire Academy. So I don't know. I'm just not connecting with this series as much as I have her other series. But I'm still going to read it. I'm kind of doing a read along with my coffee patrons of all the Jennifer L. Armentrout books, which are a lot. In this series, I don't know, it's just, to me. But I've been slow to get started this morning. I've actually been up for about 2 hours now, and I've done nothing except for watch YouTube and play on my phone. But I do need to get back to reading and get back to packing. We got a lot done yesterday, but there's still so much to do. So it is currently 5:48, and I finished the book a little after 3, like just a couple minutes after 3, and then I took a very much needed nap, and now I'm trying to wait for my brain to turn back on. But I did need to go ahead and get rolled so we can see what the next book is going to be, and so I can hopefully get started with that. Still trying to wake up though. So I'm giving Pure 3.25 stars. It was fine. It was mostly lots of people trying to either kill our main character or find a way to put her into servitude. Okay, let's turn this camera around and... Oh, hello, Snicker. Hi. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to turn this camera around, and we'll figure out what the next book is, huh? Oh, yeah. I love you, too. He needs hugs. And pets. And kisses. You just want to be on camera? Is that it? Did you just want to be on camera? I love you. He's my little baby. Alright. Let me get you to... Can I reach my camera? This is what he does. He comes and puts his head on my chest when he wants hugs, or when he's giving hugs. All right, let's move this camera. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3. We do not want a 3 because that puts us back at start. 4, 5, 6. 6 would be great. I don't particularly want a 1 either. So anything else is fine. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's middle grade. So let me see what middle grade I can find. Okay, I actually have something already checked out on Libby that works for this, and it's due back in 4 days, so I need to get to it. Granted, I have something else that's due in one day that I've already started, and I'm only 10% in, but it's fine. Uh, so, one of the books that I needed to read anyway on my TBR this month is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. This says New York Times bestselling author of The Bear and the Nightingale makes her middle grade debut with a creepy, spellbinding ghost story destined to become a classic, now in paperback. After suffering a tragic loss, 11-year-old Ollie, who only finds solace in books, discovers a chilling ghost story about a girl named Beth, the two brothers who loved her, and a peculiar deal made with a smiling man, a sinister specter who grants your most tightly held wish, but only for the ultimate price. Captivated by the tale, Ollie begins to wonder if the smiling man might be real when she stumbles upon the graves of the very people she's been reading about on a school trip to a nearby farm. Then later, when her school bus breaks down on the ride home, the strange bus driver tells Ollie and her classmates, "Best get moving. At nightfall, they'll come for the rest of you." Nightfall is indeed fast descending when Ollie's previously broken digital wristwatch begins a startling countdown and delivers a terrifying message. Run. Only Ollie and two of her classmates heed these warnings. As the trio head out into the woods, bordered by a field of scarecrows that seem to be watching them, the bus driver has just one final piece of advice for Ollie and her friends. Avoid large spaces, keep to small. And with that, a deliciously creepy and hair-raising adventure begins. So, this is only a 5-hour audiobook, so I should be able to get through this no problem tonight, and we can move on to another book. So, I'm going to get to reading. It is now 8 p.m., and I just finished Small Spaces. That was a fun, spooky story. It was like creepy scarecrows and a smiling man and ghosts, and it was just fun. What do I want to rate it? I don't know. I'm either a 3.75 or a 4. I think maybe a 4. There's also this aspect of grief in there because our main character, her mother died in a plane crash, and she's kind of been dealing with that. And a lot of the things that she used to love, like chess and stuff like that, even heights, like she's now scared of heights, and she quit the chess team and a bunch of other stuff because it brings back too many memories of her mom. And she's kind of dealing with that grief throughout this whole escape, I guess, trying to get away from the bad things in this book. And also, friends and getting to know more about people, not just judging them for like one thing, and like getting to know more about somebody. And it was really sweet. So now we need to roll again. All right, let's see. We're going this way. So 1, 2, 2 would be great because that's a free space pretty much. I just get to roll and go again. 4 is skip to the end, which would be awesome. Other than that, I'm really okay with anything. Yeah. So let's just see what we get. Oh, is that on the screen? No, let me roll again. Try to keep it where you can see on camera. Okay. Oh no. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Okay. Woo. Boom. I just won. Well, that was unexpected. Okay. I won. Yay. Which means I get to take a base spin off of my wheel of TBR. And I managed to get through, 3 books? Yeah, we got Adaptation, which I read Night Bitch and really enjoyed that. Then Romance, which I read Pure by Jennifer Armentrout, and that was okay. And then Middle Grade, which was Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, and I enjoyed that. I'm surprised that I landed on that. If I had actually taken the role that went off screen, I would have ended up on nonfiction, one past that, because I had actually rolled a 5. But I want you to be able to see what I actually roll, so yay. Okay, awesome. Have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!